The Apostle Paul stands as a pivotal figure in the expansion of early Christianity, particularly within the Hellenistic world. His strategic approach, marked by cultural adaptability and rhetorical prowess, significantly contributed to the church's rapid growth. Paul's ability to engage with his Greek audience, leveraging their philosophical and poetic traditions, was instrumental in conveying the Christian message. This engagement was not merely a superficial adoption of cultural norms, but a calculated effort to bridge the gap between Jewish Christianity and the broader Gentile world. Central to Paul's method was his use of familiar cultural touchstones to challenge existing beliefs. In Acts 17, Paul directly quotes the Cretan poet Aratus, stating, "For we are also his offspring," to connect with the Athenian philosophers. This strategic use of a revered poetic line served to create a point of common ground, allowing Paul to then pivot towards his critique of idolatry and the limitations of Greek philosophical thought, particularly Stoic pantheism. He presented the Christian God as a transcendent being, distinct from the immanent deities of Greek religion, and as the source of true knowledge and salvation. This approach allowed him to speak to the Greek audience in a language they understood, while simultaneously challenging the foundations of their worldview. Paul's adaptability is further exemplified in his statement in 1 Corinthians 9:22. "I have become all things to all people, that by all means I might save some." This principle guided his interactions with diverse communities. He became as a Jew to the Jews, adhering to Jewish customs to facilitate dialogue and understanding. Similarly, he presented himself as without law to Gentiles, demonstrating a willingness to transcend cultural barriers. This flexibility, even to the point of becoming weak for the sake of the weak, underscores Paul's commitment to spreading the Christian message. However, the legacy of Paul is also intertwined with the controversy surrounding the authorship of certain Pauline epistles. 6 letters, including 1 and 2 Timothy, Titus, Ephesians, Colossians, and 2 Thessalonians, are subject to scholarly debate regarding their authenticity. These pastoral epistles and disputed letters exhibit significant differences in style, vocabulary, and theological content compared to the undisputed Pauline letters. The arguments against Pauline authorship are compelling. The stylistic and vocabulary discrepancies, coupled with perceived internal contradictions and a later date of composition proposed by some scholars, raise substantial questions. The focus on church hierarchy and doctrinal issues in the pastoral epistles, for instance, differs markedly from the more personal and eschatological themes found in Paul's acknowledged writings. Conversely, arguments supporting authenticity cite early church tradition, the historical context of the letters, and the possibility of Paul's use of amanuenses. However, these arguments have not resolved the debate, and the question of authorship remains a point of contention among scholars. The letters 1 and 2 Timothy and Titus are often cited as examples of disputed letters due to their heavy focus on church leadership and doctrine. Ephesians and Colossians also present stylistic and vocabulary differences that cause scholars to question their authenticity. 2 Thessalonians is also contested because of its stylistic differences from 1 Thessalonians. Despite the complexities surrounding the authorship of certain letters, Paul's impact on early Christianity is undeniable. His missionary journeys, theological contributions, and strategic engagement with diverse audiences significantly shaped the trajectory of the nascent church. His ability to translate the Christian message into a language and framework accessible to the Hellenistic world was crucial in its rapid expansion. Following Paul's death, his followers continued to promote his teachings, solidifying his status as a central figure in Christian history. The forged letters, whether intentionally deceptive or written in his spirit by later disciples, contributed to this process. These letters, regardless of their authorship, reinforced Pauline theology and established a framework for church governance and doctrine. In essence, Paul was a complex and influential figure whose legacy is both celebrated and debated. His strategic adaptation to Greek culture, his powerful rhetoric, and his unwavering commitment to spreading the gospel were instrumental in the early church's growth. The debate surrounding the authenticity of certain letters attributed to him underscores the ongoing effort to understand his multifaceted contribution to Christian history. Paul's followers, in their own way, cemented his place as an icon. By writing in his name and promoting his theology,